I'll now call the October 7th meeting of the Oak Ridge Town Council to order. I'd like to note that we're missing both Councilman Doug Nodine and Town Clerk Sandra Smith tonight. Both are out of town. We're grateful to Deputy Town Clerk Ashley Royal for taking Ms. Smith's place tonight. A warm welcome to everyone attending here in Town Hall and to those attending via our live stream. We're glad you're with us tonight. I'd now like to invite Mr. Travis Cole, who is the Impact Director of the Summit Church here in Oak Ridge, forward to give the invocation. Please rise as you are able.
If you would bow your heads with me as we pray. Dear Heavenly Father, first, let me say thank you on behalf of all who are gathered here today. Thank you for your many and abundant blessings. Thank you for your grace, which you so give generously. And thank you for the love that you have for us and the desire to have a relationship with us. As we gather here today, thank you for the opportunity and the privilege to serve others. In your word, it says that citizens ought to obey their governing authorities that you have established. And so I pray for the officials and the council that is assembled here tonight. I pray that you would grant them wisdom to govern amid the interest and the issues of our time. I pray that you would give them confidence to make the hard choices and decisions that are before them. I pray that there will be harmony and the ability to work together and to greater serve others, and that you will give them the personal peace and joy in their lives, that they will enjoy the work that they get to do. I pray for the agenda that is set before them tonight, and I pray that you give everyone the assurance of what would please you and would honor you the most. It is in your precious and holy name that we pray. Amen.
Please join us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Cole, for being here tonight. We'll move on to item 2, a brief statement regarding the emergency. A state of emergency is still in effect in North Carolina. In addition, the Guilford County Board of Commissioners, acting in their capacity as the County Board of Health, passed a mask mandate on August 16th that is currently in effect. Accordingly, we ask that everyone here wear a mask throughout the meeting, with the exception of council members and staff who are allowed to forego this requirement while speaking to an audience with sufficient distance from that audience. The public has been invited to join us here in person or by live stream, and instructions for doing so have been widely publicized. Our meeting agenda is available on the back table, and all public materials for this meeting have been posted on our website, as they are for all of our meetings. In this way, Oak Ridge is meeting all statutory requirements. Council members and staff, please speak clearly and directly into the mic. If anyone can't hear what's being said, either up here or in the audience, please raise your hand so that we can fix the problem before moving on. We'll now move to item 3, approval of our agenda. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And the motion carries and the agenda is approved. We move to approval of the minutes for our September 2nd, 2021 regular meeting. Council, you've had the opportunity to review the draft minutes. Is there a motion?
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the minutes for September 2nd, 2021.
Is there a second?
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion carries, and the September 2nd minutes are approved. We'll now move to item number 5, resolutions, proclamations, and announcements. I'd like to take this moment to proclaim the excellent work of the Summit Church and their recent Big Serve project. They transformed large outdoor areas at our town park, at our elementary school, and at Northwest Middle and High School. Councilwoman Pittman, I know you were involved. Have I missed any of the sites?
There were probably 10 sites, weren't there, all over the Northeast, including Revolution Academy and some others towards Summerfield and Lot, which number? Lot 429. Lot 429. So there were quite a few.
Wow. And how many people were involved in this, Mr. Cole?
Close to 300.
Oh, my goodness. That's impressive.
Wow.
Well, Special thanks to the many, many volunteers, and to you, Mr. Cole, and to the church, and to you, for Councilwoman Pittman, for being a part of what was an incredible project. I saw some of the before and after pictures, and I just wanted to recognize you. I'd also like to thank and recognize the Oak Ridge Garden Club for their efforts on Tuesday night in maintaining 4 community gardens located at our town park, Oak Ridge Elementary, Oak Ridge Military Academy, and at the Old Mill. A much smaller group of people, but they made a big difference at those sites. And it was organized by Garden Club President Barb Engel, who's also a member of our Historic Preservation Commission, and both Councilwoman Pittman and I were involved. Anyway, I hope you'll join me in applauding these efforts of Summit Church and the Oak Ridge Garden Club. What a great town we live in. We'll now move on to the report from the Guilford County Sheriff's Office, and I'll welcome Detective Chris Malloy forward to give that report. Excuse me.
Good evening, I'm Detective Malloy with the Sheriff's Office. For the month of September, there were a total of 70 calls for service. However, most of those calls are either very minor or just involved people within their own family, didn't have a bigger impact on the town. Of the calls that you would probably be worried about, like being a motor vehicle, you had 1 in September. Larceny, 2. There were 3 frauds. There were 5 suspicious activity calls and 1 trash dumping call. The rest wouldn't really have impacted everybody as a whole. Outstanding for Oak Ridge.
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
Carrie, where was the trash dumping at?
It doesn't say specifically here, however, there's a problem.
Up there along with the,
Goodwill.
yeah, understand now.
Yep. And I guess that's you guys and not Stokesdale.
Yeah, up there along there, we go all the way to, we have the
Cascades?
The Cascades Park is in the town, so basically right at that point goes up to the border. So I noticed a few months back, I had noticed quite a bit of dumping over around the parking lot portion there.
We've been struggling. We've actually reached out through social media on some of the trash dumping.
Yeah.
You guys are familiar. So we're doing what we can, yes.
Was the breaking and entering a vehicle or a home or?
It was a vehicle. Mm-hmm. And this is sort of a constant struggle. They're usually crimes of opportunity. Somebody's left their vehicle unlocked. We have a problem with people checking door handles at night in neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. And if they find one unlocked, they rifle through the car.
Mm.
So this is more entering than breaking.
Yes, yeah, it would fall under breaking and entering, but unlocked.
I understand.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
We
you so much.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll now move to a report from the Oak Ridge Fire Department. I don't see anyone here.
No.
Mr. Anders, will you fill that slot for us? Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. I told y'all I was dangerous with this stuff. Okay. It's genetic. I just kill them. Hope everyone's having a good evening. Sam Anders, Assistant Chief, Oak Ridge Fire and Rescue. Number one, I want to thank the town for having Heritage Day. We absolutely had a ball doing that. We gave away a ton of pub ed stuff with kids, all kinds of tattoos and wristbands. I even scored me one. But we had a really good day with outreach and the demo with the truck. We had a huge number of kids wanted to see it, and everything from some antique car buffs wanted to look under the hood to kids just wanted to see the water fly out the front of it. But it was really a great event. We did a lot of fire life safety education that day. And, of course, several members of our fire department came and at great personal risk made sure that the food was not dangerous in any way, form, or fashion. They throwed themselves on several treats and everything, but they did also enjoy the cookies from the cookie contest. So everybody really had a great time. A bunch of the firemen came. But we appreciate that. This is, Fire Prevention Week has come up. We're trying to do outreach. We got a banner out in front of the station, and we're doing everything we can with the kids. The other big event we've got coming up is our barbecue is a week from Saturday. It's on the 16th. We're going to open, intend to open at 9 in the morning, and it's going to be first come, first serve. So I would recommend avoiding this intersection that time of day. We will try to open at 9. We have opened earlier when it got to the point the traffic backup was blocking the road in all directions. But we'll handle that. We always appreciate the community support, but it is going to be for sale. The barbecue by the pound are in the pint containers, which is actually it's a little bit over a pound, and the sauce, $8 a pound for the barbecue. $8 a container is a better way to phrase it, and $3 for a container of sauce. And we do appreciate the community support. This is an ongoing fundraiser for the fire department that goes back to 1954 when they made $64 and change, I believe, is what was officially recorded in the records from the first barbecue. And I think they did maybe 200 pounds of pig and made 60-some bucks. So we do appreciate everyone's support. Also, with the weather we're having now, everyone needs to do a few things. Please be careful. With the rains, we had some winds the other week. We've had some trees that have come down around the community. We're alternating with dry spells and wet spells. We have a lot of trees that come down. And also, anyone traveling on Beeson Road, please, for God's sake, be careful going over the bridge below Benbow Merrill. I was on the call. We had a wreck Monday evening, and the left half of the bridge is, the left half of all the railing is missing. The car, fortunately, everybody made it out okay, with not a scratch, but the entire left side of the guardrail and everything is totally gone. They are working on it. They did some temporary, just putting up some cones, but that's always a situation. We've had a wreck there almost every year for the last 3 years, and fortunately, all of them have come out good. But that bridge is really dangerous. The DOT did say that the only thing they could tell us at the scene was that the state is getting ready to let the contract on that, or let it out for bid. And they're going to be replacing both that bridge and the other bridge on Beeson that's inside Colfax. But in the interim, that is one of our most dangerous spots. You can't see because of the curve of the road, and it looks better than it is, and young drivers especially need to go extremely slow. But that's our safety message. Be cognitive of weather-induced problems, whether it's the flooding or whether it's the trees coming down. Drive very defensively and be cognitive of those problems. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sam, I have a question. Someone asked me, and I was not able to find any information about it. Was there an incident with a school bus recently?
Was there any what?
An incident with a school bus recently?
No, sir, not to my knowledge.
Okay.
We've not had any calls involving a bus.
Okay, thank you. Like I said, I just wanted to find out. I couldn't find out for them.
Thank you. We'll now move on to item number 8, Town Manager's Report, and we'll turn to Manager Bill Bruce for that report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. I have several items for you tonight. The first is the consideration and approval of the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board's recommendation to waive the pitching mound rental fee for athletic tournaments at the town park. There is a memo in your packet that outlines the rationale for the fee waiver request, which helps us position us to be more competitive in attracting tournaments, which not only helps the town's bottom line, but helps bring business to local retailers as well. Both staff and the Parks and Rec Board recommend Council adopt the change to the fee schedule.
Thank you. Council, you have the memo. What is your pleasure?
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we waive the fee.
I'll second it.
The motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion carries, and the recommendation of Parks and Rec is approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Secondly, I'd like to take a moment to provide an update on the town's plans to develop the Heritage Farm Park property. For the last several months, McGill Associates, who is our consultant engineer, has worked with town staff and the Parks and Recreation Board to prepare a site development plan and construction documents for Phase 1 of Heritage Farm Park, which consists of all site preparation and grading work, 2 athletic fields, access drive and parking lot, walking trails, playground, restroom, and picnic shelter. These plans are nearly complete, and we're working through the final review and permitting process this month. The plan has been reviewed and approved by the Parks and Rec Advisory Board, and both the Historic Preservation Commission and Planning and Zoning Board will be reviewing the plans this month for conformance with the town standards and ordinances. State permits are also under review, and we expect those approvals in the next month. On Monday, at a special called meeting of council, and after a review of the opinion of probable cost for these improvements, Town Council authorized staff to move forward with preparing an advertisement for bids from contractors to construct the entirety of Phase 1. Prior to the council decision, the Finance Committee had also reviewed those construction probable costs, as well as a fund balance projection and amortization schedule based on current interest rates, and recommended applying for a loan to finance a portion of this cost of construction. Town Council on Monday also reviewed these projections and the work of the Finance Committee and concurred with that recommendation and advised staff to secure a loan for up to $3.25 million. Of course, we had hoped to offset some of this cost with our Part F grant application, which would have covered roughly 12% of the total project costs. But unfortunately, due to another year of strong competition, including some strong local competition, we were not successful. Mr. Benz of the Finance Committee and also Mr. Anders are both here tonight and can help summarize the Finance Committee's work, which may be a part of the committee reports coming up a little later in the meeting. But also they can speak to the process moving forward in securing that loan. In the meantime, work toward preparing the bid advertisement has begun, and we'll plan to post when permits and approvals have been secure. We hope to have bid openings in December and a contractor in place by January.
That's great.
If there are any
Council,
questions.
any comments or questions? One clarification, just for people who may not be in the know, because we've been going over this, but by Phase 1, we mean the entirety of what you described.
That's
and
correct.
the only elements remaining that are in our CIP would be possible tennis courts and a possible basketball court in future years.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. And any other business?
I do have one other item for council's consideration, and there is a memo in your packet regarding enforcement action, zoning enforcement action at 8346 and 8364 West Harrell Road. Also in your memos are 2 notices of civil penalties that are currently accruing against the property owner, Ricky Wayne Jones, for zoning violations related to the use of the properties as an automotive storage yard. In the memo, there's a timeline of contact that we've made or attempted to make with the property owner beginning back on May 4th. Numerous attempts to contact the property owner have been unsuccessful, and we've not had a response from the property owner on any both certified and sheriff services of notices of complaint. Civil penalties for both properties now exceed $30,000. And tonight I'm requesting the council authorize the town attorney to pursue enforcement in Superior Court for an injunction to obey the zoning ordinance and judgment to collect accrued civil penalties against Ricky Wayne Jones, property owner of 8364 and 8346 West Harrell Road.
Thank you, Mr. Bruce. I'll now look for a motion regarding this matter that either approves or rejects the specific requested action in Mr. Bruce's memo.
I make a I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Sure. Okay. I make a motion, we authorize our town attorney to proceed with enforcement.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Councilman McClellan.
Yep. Okay. How many times did the sheriff, you told me the sheriff had gone out trying to, made the effort. How many times?
4 times? Is that correct, Sean?
It was 4 times.
4 times. And then on top of that, he's also received, I guess, letters from us And you know,
Numerous attempts through both certified and regular mail, as well as physically posting the property.
sounds like due diligence has been done. And now, Mr. Attorney. Now, if, let's say this guy chooses not to show up for court, what goes on there? What happens? Or possibly happens?
Well, what you're authorizing is filing of an action that seeks two basic things. The first is to enforce compliance through the contempt power of the court to find that the owner of these properties is refusing to obey a lawful regulation and is ordered on pain of fine or jail or both to abide by the regulation and do what is required for the citations. And secondly, we have civil penalties accruing as we speak daily. What you do at this point is go to court, and it's, the statutes say you collect this in the nature of debt. So on the day you go to court with a request for judgment, it will have accrued to X by that date. Reduce it to a judgment, which will end the accrual, but then it becomes a judgment at 8% interest. And then you can enforce it like any other judgment holder. So those are the two remedies, basic remedies that you're seeking with this action.
Thank you.
My question, I think you've answered. You're basically saying that once the court, if the court hears in our favor, the accumulation of penalties will stop under our ordinance, but then it starts accruing at what, 8% interest?
It becomes a judgment at 8% interest.
Okay, but, okay, I
But
just wanted to make sure.
it becomes essentially a liquidated penalty for having failed to comply with the lawful ordinances of the town. But, of course, that alone doesn't bring the properties within compliance.
Understand.
The contempt power would do that, and the person either is probably given assuming the court rules for the town, the person is given X amount of time to show proof of compliance, which would be their compliance and agreement by the town that it's complied with. Or if they don't, then basically the court throws them in jail until they cause compliance. And they hold the keys to their freedom. They can be in there forever.
Yeah.
They don't bring the property or cause it to be brought into compliance. So it's a powerful remedy, but you have to go through the steps to get there.
Sure.
Would we consider, even after that, forgiving the fines if he brings it in compliance?
Well, that's once it becomes a debt, then it's within the power of council to negotiate it if you want to. It's not, civil penalties are not taxes. So my municipal clients, I've always been very careful that they never forgive a tax. But this is not that area of liability. You're not there yet, of course. We're in a period still of accrual. But you're asking theoretically, if you're in that position, can you forgive or modify it to a lesser amount or something like that, if you feel like that's still made the point, which is what this is for. If the next person understands this has teeth. If they don't want to pay a lot of money, they need to comply. So, but the answer is yes, you could have authority at that point to.
Okay, and then the other thing is I want to just verify that we don't really benefit from the money. We have to give, what, 90% to the school system?
Civil penalties, so effectively you're benefiting the children of
So effectively,
Guilford
we're
County.
actually going to, it's going to cost us money probably because we have to pay your fees and other fees.
Well, until it's exceeded in a given month, you're already paying me.
Okay,
So
all right, then.
that's not
Yeah.
as big a deal as what you just pointed out. The town does not collect these large sounding amounts.
Yeah, we're not benefiting from.
Does not keep them.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're not raising funds by imposing penalties.
Not a revenue.
Yeah,
It's
you
not
know,
a
we're
revenue
you know,
matter.
Like I said, 90% of it goes to the school.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Good point. Councilwoman Pittman.
And is the enforcement action or the contempt action, which would be to force them to clean up or come into a compliance, is there any point at which someone else would step in and physically contract to get the work done or anything like that?
That would be up to them, whatever's required for the town to then inspect and say it's now in compliance. That's what the court, if we are successful and get an order like that, that's what the court would be looking for. And if it doesn't hear it and there's a willful evasion or failure to comply with the regulation, that's where the person is basically given to the bailiff and put in jail until they make the calls to their people or whatever they need to do to get it done.
But there's no point at which the town would send a crew to...
No, this is not like where we say cut an overgrown property or abate a public health nuisance summarily and put a lien arises from that for that cost, which is a different kind of situation.
Good question. Well, I just want to say thank you, Attorney Thomas, and thanks to our planning director for sticking on this issue, because it's unfortunate that we have to go in this direction. But as you say, in order for our ordinances to have teeth and to keep this from happening in other areas, we have to uphold our ordinances. And in this case, that means enforcement in Superior Court. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a vote. Those in favor of authorizing the town attorney to move forward, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, the motion carries and you are authorized. Thank you. Mr. Bruce, is there any other business?
That's all this evening. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. We'll now move to item number 9, a period of public comment. And this is the first of 2 such periods. Speakers must come forward and give their name and address at the mic and are asked to keep their comments under 3 minutes in length. Comments submitted in writing may be read aloud. Have we received any written comments? We have not. Is there anyone who wishes to speak tonight? Okay, going once, going twice. I don't see anyone. So we will move on to the next item, which is our monthly financial item update, and I'll invite Finance Officer Sam Anders to present to us.
Good evening again, Council. You saw it, it's attacking me. Okay. All right, we'll try this again. Hope everyone's doing well still. On the financial report, everyone should have got a copy yesterday. We're sitting right now with total assets of $4.481 million. I'd like to point out in that number we have $828,000 of ARPA funding. That's that dedicated fund from the feds. We're keeping that segregated. But overall, maintaining as normal a strong balance sheet position. We have a total fund balance of $4.418 million. Out of that $4.480, we got about $50,000 in liabilities. For the month, we had a rather large property tax receipts of $232,000. Sales taxes were also fairly strong. We received the franchise taxes on telecom, video, electric, power, and pipe natural gas. And then our committees were active. We had some other park revenues. We had town special events with some revenue, and the Veterans Memorial brought in $20,839.87 in donations. So overall, an extremely strong month with $355,000 of revenues. We spent $192,174 with a net add to the fund balance of $162,908. We have our funds segregated between BB&T, Bank of Oak Ridge, primarily in the ICS money market, and then we have a little bit at Pinnacle Bank. We are looking at rates. We've reached out. We've got with this large amount that's come in, also with the extremely large amount that just came in for the month of September that I'll be reporting, or excuse me, the month of October that I'll be reporting on next month. we're looking at getting quotes again, and we've reached out to all of our banks that we partner with. I'd mentioned the monies, the wire transfer that we just received was $338,410.36 in property taxes, $94,5326 in motor vehicle, for a total of $347,863.62. That was the collection just for the month of September. I went over our various types of income. The main thing for the month we've been doing is helping the staff with contracts and supporting the finance committee with the projections and the work at their meeting. And then the other thing is our annual audit is nearing completion. I've reached out to the auditors. We're trying to finalize the schedule for the rest of the month. They're almost done with all of the numeric stuff. The management discussion and analysis, what we call the MD&A component of that audit, is the next piece. And when they come up to that, we're right in the really short rows. They will contact myself and Bill, and we will have to review it and analyze it, add some things, and some forward-looking statements from our manager. And then they incorporate it, and we do intend to have the audit here next month for your approval. And right now, according to every indication, everything's moving along smoothly. And that's pretty much everything for the month.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Council, is there a motion to accept the financial report as presented?
Yes, Mayor, I make a motion that we accept the monthly financial reports as presented by our Chief Financial Officer.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion, Council? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of approving the financial report, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed? The motion carries and the financial report is approved. Thank you for your service. We
Thank you, ma'am.
appreciate it. We'll now move to item 11, a time for reports from our committees, and I'll invite brief reports of up to 3 minutes each from each of our boards and committees, and we'll start with our Parks and Rec Advisory Board. Mr. Garrett, come on forward.
Thank you, Councilman, for our opportunity to report our activities for September 2021. We held a monthly meeting on September 16th in person, also via the Zoom platform. During that time, we approved appointment of a new teen advisor. Really excited about that. Her name is Selby Chipman. I don't know whether you know her or not. She's quite impressive young woman. I think you'll be impressed by her if you have a chance to meet her. We also approved a request by the Special Events Committee to use fire pits for making s'mores during the Light Up the Night activities this December. That should be really fun and interesting for everyone attending. Also approved use of the town park by the Piedmont Discovery Scavenger Hunt in March of 2022. There'll be more coming out on that, I know. I reviewed the information that Ashley was able to provide us, and it's pretty interesting. So I don't know whether, I think you know more about it than anyone, so that should be fun. If you don't know anything about it, look it up, and it should be something interesting for the community. Also, you've already covered this, but I just want to make one point. This is in regards to the baseball field pitching mound rental waiver. It starts in the season 2022, and according to Terry Lannon, it estimates about $200 to $300 only for a reduction of revenue, so it's not significant. We also approved the Heritage Farm Park site plan created by McGill and Associated, dated September 2021. And we did make an exception that the staff, if they need to make some minor changes, we would accept that. But it looked pretty much exactly what we had looked at before, with a few exceptions. We also approved conducting music in the park for next year, for 2022. Don't have a schedule yet. I'm putting that together. You'll see that, I guess, in the next month or so. We also supported the Heritage Day celebration. It was fun. I know you all were there. And next I guess this coming Saturday night, we have our last Music in the Park. Hopefully it won't rain us out. And it starts at 6 o'clock this Saturday night and lasts to 7:30. Is there any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Especially for your work in reviewing the site plan.
You're welcome.
Absolutely.
Thank you. We'll move on to the Finance Committee, and I believe Mr. Benz, the Vice Chair of the committee, is here tonight.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor and council members, for allowing me to speak for the Finance Committee tonight. As Bill mentioned earlier, the Finance Committee was asked by the Town Council to review options to pay for the Heritage Farm Park Capital Improvement Project. And the committee met last week. We had a very healthy debate regarding options, including borrowing the bulk of the proposed costs from a bank, financial institution. Sam Anders, as Bill mentioned, Sam presented a cash flow budget and debt service projection, which by all accounts was conservative in nature, and we appreciate that, Sam, your work there. The conclusion of the committee was that the town has the capacity to service the debt associated with the project while still maintaining a healthy fund balance. The members of the committee have also contacted a few financial institutions, including Truist, formerly known as BB&T, to get some preliminary indication of rates and terms for such a project, and that was very encouraging. I think everyone knows we're still in a very low rate environment, and so it's a good time. We don't know how long that will last, so I think this is an excellent time to pursue something like this. And we got indication that somewhere in the neighborhood of 2.5% is currently around where rates are on 15-year fixed money, which is very good. We also believe we can obtain within the terms of a loan from an institution to allow us to prepay the debt at some point in the future. Typically that's done after the first 5 years without any penalty, which is important and kind of coincides nicely with the fact that in about 6 years, I think it's 2028, the Whitaker loan will be paid off. And so we think we can achieve that as well. So based on the town's strong financial position and the availability of very attractive borrowing rates and terms, the committee concluded with a recommendation to the council to pursue financing for the project. Does anybody have any questions for me?
No.
Thank you. Very helpful, and it was a great meeting.
Yeah.
Good job. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We will move on to the Water Advisory Board. Do we have a written report on that one? Spencer said he sent you about 2 sentences. Well, let's just summarize it since Mr. Bruce and I were both there. The town manager presented an update on where we were with regard to moving forward on fire suppression efforts and a municipal water system. So mostly it was a time of updates to the Water Advisory Board, but they're beginning now to meet monthly. So we will be hearing from them.
That's 3 sentences.
Yeah, he would have done better.
Okay.
We'll go on to Historic Preservation Commission, Ms. Schoenfeld.
Good evening. My name is Debbie Schoenfeld. I live at 8501 Sansero Farm Court, Oak Ridge, North Carolina. The HBC did not meet for its regularly scheduled meeting in September because we didn't have any business. But we did a design review for a property on Williard Road, and we expect to see an application for a certificate of appropriateness probably this month, but maybe next. Bill Edwards and I are working on taking the last photographs of the remaining historic homes in and inside and outside the historic district that we don't have photos of yet. And Sandra is working on text or stories for these particular homes, the histories on them. Heritage Day was a success for the Historic Preservation Commission also. We held a raffle that included a basket that was valued at $125, actually more than that. And we also included in that a private tour of historic Oakhurst for up to 4 people. And we sold every ticket. And we had a Girl Scout who was helping herself to some candy. We had her draw the winning ticket for us, and it happened to be Jeff Bear, who I understand is on the Preservation Oak Ridge.
He's the new president, yeah.
Yeah, the new president of Preservation Oak Ridge. Anyway, he was on site still, and he was really excited to be winning a basket full of goodies and a private tour. And it was a really fun day. We really enjoyed it. And we'd just like to say special thanks to Miles and Janie Foy for allowing us to auction off a private tour of their home. That's all I have tonight. Are there any questions?
No, great job.
Okay, thank you.
And wonderful of the Foys to do that, definitely. And do we have a report from Planning and Zoning? No meeting, okay. And Mountains to Sea?
I have that report.
Okay.
This is submitted by Ann Steele and Bill Royal, who are the co-chairs. The Mountains to Sea Trail Committee met via Zoom on September 28th. The following items were discussed. 3 members of the committee participated in a litter sweep on Goodwill Church Road. 9 bags of trash were collected and properly disposed. Construction of the new crushed gravel side path on Hall River Road and Pepper Road has begun. When completed, this will connect the 2 off-road sections of the Headwaters Trail. Bill Royal gave a presentation to approximately 25 scouts and parents of Girl Scout Troop 12-475 on September 30th. He spoke about what the trail project is, where it is located, and how our community can participate. It was a great educational opportunity for the young people to learn about the trail and how Oak Ridge is connected to the larger MST community. Randy Schmitz and Mike Kimmel staffed a booth at Heritage Day on September 25th. Several people stopped to speak and gave positive feedback about the project. A work day is being planned for Saturday morning, October 16th from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. Sign-up information will be emailed and posted to our Facebook page. We will perform basic trail maintenance on several sections of Headwaters and the Cascades Preserve loops. Lastly, if you are an Oak Ridge resident and are interested in joining the MST committee or in just joining a meeting, please contact Town Hall for volunteer information. We meet on the 4th Tuesday of every month at 6 p.m.
Thank you. And the next item, Conservation Easement Committee didn't meet, but we have the first full meeting of the full committee planned for October 20th, so that'll be the time we'll restart that effort. And special events, Ms. Dumchowski.
Patty Dumchowski, 7320 Hidden View Drive. Special events, our veterans fundraising efforts continue to go well. If anyone needs any additional information, please check out the town website. We met with Revington Reeves, who is our consultant design group, to discuss minor changes at the site, at the veterans site. This was done in conjunction with discussions of McGill and the Parks and Rec Advisory Board. One topic was the pavers along the Walk of Honor up to the center of the site. We discussed having small and larger pavers just depending on the donation amount. As per the instructions from the military branches, there is only one company, Polar Engraving, located in Florida, that is licensed to engrave the pavers with military insignias. Revington Reeves will follow up with the company for input and report back to the committee on their findings. Based on these findings, we will formulate a plan for the public to purchase memorial pavers. We'll again be having a veterans ceremony on Thursday, November 11th, 2021 at the amphitheater. We'll also have a groundbreaking event at the site, but we haven't determined the exact time on that. The committee did a great job working the food trailer during Ridge Fest. They made over $2,500, and all the profits have been donated to the Veterans Site Fund. Thanks so much to Sue Madison and to Barb Engel for heading up this and the many volunteers that helped out. The ceremony for the 20th anniversary of 9/11 was held at the town amphitheater. The ceremony included local scouts, Pastor Andy from the Summit Church, and guest speakers. We also had 13 pairs of combat boots donated from local veterans to remember the 13 military service members that were killed in Afghanistan. We also set up the blue lights here at Town Hall under the American flag as we did the year before. The Special Events Committee also participated at Heritage Day with a baking contest for homemade cookies. Our winner this year was Claire English with her delicious chocolate chip cookies. A big thank you to Sandra Smith for continuing to have Heritage Day every year. This is a great event that recalls the history here in Oak Ridge. And finally, we continue to work on our Night of the Light event, which will be held December 4th at 4 o'clock. We will have plenty of activities, foods, and craft vendors, and Santa. Any questions, comments?
Great work.
Great
Thank you.
committee.
Thank you.
Great committee. Thank you.
It is a great committee. Thank you. We'll now move on to item 12, reports from our community organizations, starting with the Oak Ridge Elementary School. No report. She's usually very good about that. Anything, we don't have anyone here from the Oak Ridge Youth Association. We keep hoping their new communications person will be here, maybe next month. And Oak Ridge Military Academy, no word? Well, that makes that section short, and we'll move on to item number 13, the second of 2 public comment periods. Is there anyone who would like to speak? Oh, come forward, Ms. Engel.
Barbara Engel, 8524 Rosedale Drive. I just thought of 2 things. First of all, I would like to, whoever helped with not mowing the certain part of the Whitaker property, the new Heritage Farm Park, that kept the meadow growing and the milkweed. I had monarchs in my garden for the first time in 19 years that I've lived here. So it was very, very helpful. So whoever all was involved in that, I really appreciate that. And I also just wanted to mention that the Oak Ridge Garden Club is taking care of and trying to enhance 4 different gardens in the community. We started with a memorial garden over in Orma near Maple Glade, and we have added the big rocks at in the town park at the trailheads. They're tough because they don't get watered, and we're still learning what will grow there and what won't grow there. And then this past spring, we took over the maintenance of the Oak Ridge Elementary School's monument sign garden. And we just went and, we're refreshing all those gardens. We just did that Tuesday night. And also we've taken on doing the garden in front of the old mill because that was looking really sad. And they just don't have time for that. So we've done that, and hopefully they'll start looking beautiful by next spring. So that's it.
Thank you, Barb. And I think you missed, we did a little proclamation thanking the Garden Club for their efforts on those 4 gardens, but you gave more details, so thank you.
Yeah, we have about 30 members, but about 20 of us showed up to do it, and we split up.
It was a lot of work.
It was great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak? Seeing no one, we'll move on to council comments. Councilman McClellan, you want to start us off?
Sure. First of all, I want to thank the members of the Finance Committee and Parks and Recs in the work that we've been doing for getting the town park started. Not town park, excuse me, Heritage
Farm Park.
Heritage Farm Park. And so I want to just thank y'all for this because it's truly been a team effort. And I know we were all, as a town, probably a bit disappointed that we didn't get the Part F grant. But on the other hand, we don't let that little setback stop us from going forward. I mean, think about it. Next year, we're going to see dirt being turned and increase activities that are going to be available to our citizens, and eventually the Veterans Monument as well. So we're doing the right things. Also, I want to thank the folks on MST. Let me tell you, I've been down there following the Side Path project on a couple occasions. They are, of course, these are the professional contractors doing this. They have been doing a very good job that I think all of us in Oak Ridge can be very proud of. And of course, that has been headed up by our MST committee. I'm looking forward to when the two trails are, that two sections of the MST are connected. So once again, I want to thank everybody. Our town is moving forward. It's an honor to serve.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Kinnaman?
A couple quick things. With the daylight hours changing, if you're crossing at the crosswalk in front of Town Hall, we have flashing lights, and it really makes a big difference that people can see that you're crossing. By the same token, if you see the flashing lights as a driver, please stop, because I know some people have talked about, I think Martha's talked about the fact that she pushed the light bulb and cars keep going by. So both sides, I think, could cooperate a little better in making that a safer thing. The town put that up to make sure people are safe, so please take advantage of it. As always, if you can donate blood, please do. The United Methodist Church has a blood drive on Monday. They always do a great job of giving you great snacks, and like I said, there's always a need for blood. Heritage Day was a blast, for the Lions Club at least. I didn't get a chance to walk around much because I was manning the hot dogs, but we sold over 175 hot dogs, and we will bring ketchup next year. We thought nobody wanted ketchup from the last time we wanted it, so we said we're not going to bring ketchup, and about a third of the people said, hey, you got ketchup? And we didn't have ketchup, so we will have ketchup next year. And with the park, I think the biggest thing, hopefully people got out of the message from tonight and from earlier this week and from the Finance Committee and from the Parks and Rec and from all the committees working on the Heritage Farm, we're really committed to this. So the fact that we didn't get the Part F grant didn't slow us down. We know that people really want this, and I think it's a very valuable long-term investment. I mean, the Youth Association will just gobble up the extra fields. So I think it's really wise investment. Normally it's a difficult decision. It always is a difficult decision to borrow money, whether as a personal person or as a town. We're fortunate that the Finance Committee has done a great job, fortunate that the interest rates are low, but I think this is definitely a long-term investment that's worth spending the money on and doing it now and not spreading it out over further. So like I said, it's great. So that's what I got to say.
Well put. Thank you. Councilwoman Pittman?
And I just want to say what a glorious September we had in Oak Ridge. I mean, the weather was beautiful this year. We had Heritage Day, we had Patriots Day, we had, Ridge Fest, and there was stuff going on at Arma. It's just like the whole month. Every time I turned around, there was something else to go. And everyone did an excellent job, from our town committees, our town volunteers, and all the community groups, the churches, the nonprofits, and the schools. Everybody pitched in and really made September really special this year. I'm also really happy that we're moving forward on Heritage Farm Park. I think it's been a long time coming, and I'm glad we're taking that next step. And the last thing, and I guess all of you know me well enough to know this is true, is I love to talk, and I love to talk about Oak Ridge, but I also need to hear from people. I need to, I do listen. I listen well, but I need for people to reach out. And I think all of us feel that way. A lot of times we find out that there are concerns or there are questions, and we find out because this person said it to this person and that person said it to this person, and it finally comes to us, and we're able to address it. And a lot of times it's a very simple answer or a simple fix. And also sometimes we have to say, well, I'm sorry, that's just the way things are. But I do encourage all residents, all of you, that if you have anything, don't let it sit and simmer. Just reach out. And because I think I speak for all of us when I say we're here. And we're here not only to come to meetings and make decisions, but we're here to be responsive to all the residents out there in Oak Ridge. And the last thing is, Election Day is November the 2nd. And I Again, I'm preaching to the choir in this room and probably to those online, but I encourage everybody to get out and vote on November 2nd.
Thank you. And to that point, early voting, there's no early voting here at Town Hall, but it starts on October 14th. So if you can't be here on Election Day, do look up the early voting information. It's been posted on our town Facebook page, and it's posted here at Town Hall as well. It has been a glorious September. I was going to say something about how impressed I am about all of the volunteers. I think about the Kiwanis Golf Tournament, the Lions event at the Commons, the things that the Northwest Guilford Women's Club is doing, and all of what's being done by our committees. There just isn't another community that I know of that inspires so many people to serve in so many different ways. This is truly a citizen-led town, and I think to Martha's point that we want to hear from you, we're citizens here too, so sometimes we are irked by the same issues you are, and if we join forces and talk through solutions, it's the best way to move forward and solve any issues that we see. We strive to give citizens a real voice in town planning and on town issues. And you can't have that voice if you don't either get involved or let us know what you think. I think this kind of involvement is most common at the local level, certainly, and maybe certainly in small towns like ours. But I still think that Oak Ridge is very special in this regard. I also think it's a tribute to past councils and committees who've set the stage for what we're doing now and how our committees are set up and how plugged into the process they are. That every time we need something to happen, we look to the citizens to help us make it happen. I'm just grateful to all of you who serve. Thank you. We'll now move to the final item on our agenda, adjournment. Is there a motion?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries and we are adjourned. Thank you for being here tonight.